Have you ever accepted a gift, smiled, said thank you, and slowly noticed that things started going wrong afterward? Your peace disappeared. Money became harder to keep. Opportunities slipped away. Your mind felt heavier, without reason. This is not coincidence. In Buddhism, nothing is ever just an object. Everything carries intention, energy, and karma. Some gifts don't bring blessings. They bring burdens. Some gifts don't add to your life. They drain your luck, clarity, and abundance silently. Today's video is about something most people ignore and later regret. Never accept these gifts from anyone because they attract bad luck and poverty, according to deep Buddhist wisdom. Before we begin, like this video to protect your mind from negative influence. Subscribe if you value truth over comfort, because this knowledge is not taught in schools, but it decides your destiny. Now listen carefully. 1. Gifts given with hidden expectations. In Buddhism, a gift is never judged by its price, its beauty, or its usefulness. It is judged by the intention behind it, because intention is karma, and karma never forgets. A gift given with control, silent calculation, or future demands is not kindness. It is a karmic contract you never agreed to sign. On the surface, it looks generous. It arrives wrapped in smiles, polite words, and apparent goodwill. But beneath that wrapping is something dangerous: expectation. And expectation is the seed of suffering. Have you noticed how some people give and later remind you of it? Not immediately, not loudly, but subtly, slowly. After all I did for you, I helped you when no one else did. Don't forget who stood by you. At that moment, the gift reveals its true nature. It was never free. It was a leash. The Buddha warned that attachment binds the mind like chains around the neck, and gifts tied to expectation bind your fate to another person's ego. From that moment on, your choices no longer feel fully yours. You hesitate before saying no. You feel guilt when protecting your boundaries. You start adjusting your behavior, not because it's right, but because you owe something. This is how freedom quietly dies. Such gifts slowly reshape your inner world. You begin to depend financially instead of standing on your own effort. You grow emotionally weaker, afraid of losing support. Your self-respect erodes, replaced by obligation and silent pressure. And the most dangerous part? You may not notice it happening. The Buddha taught that poverty begins in the mind before it reaches the wallet. When you accept gifts that demand loyalty, obedience, or gratitude beyond reason, you first lose spiritual independence. And once that is gone, material loss follows naturally. Because a dependent mind cannot create abundance, it can only receive conditionally. What looks like help today becomes control tomorrow. What feels like support becomes a burden you carry in your chest. That is why Buddhist wisdom teaches us to be mindful not just of what we accept, but from whom and why. A true gift leaves you lighter. A false one leaves you indebted. And anything that makes you feel small, guilty, or trapped, no matter how expensive it is, will eventually cost you far more than it gives. Sometimes, the bravest act is not accepting. 2. Gifts from people who secretly resent you. Not everyone who smiles at you wishes you well. Some people smile because it hides what they truly feel. And in Buddhism, what is hidden in the mind does not disappear. It leaks into everything it touches. The Buddha taught that the mind is energy. Not metaphorically, literally. Every thought leaves a trace. Every emotion stains the inner world. And resentment, silent, denied, unspoken resentment, is one of the most toxic mental states a human can carry. It corrodes the person who holds it and poisons whatever they offer to others. When a jealous, bitter, or deeply unhappy person gives you a gift, they may not consciously wish you harm, but their unresolved suffering travels with that object. It becomes a carrier of inner chaos. The gift looks ordinary, useful, even kind, but something inside it feels wrong, subtle, uncomfortable, hard to explain. And the moment you accept it, the shift begins. You may notice it slowly. Your energy drops for no clear reason. Tasks that once felt easy now feel heavy. You procrastinate more. You feel irritated without knowing why. Your motivation fades, not dramatically, but quietly, like a candle losing oxygen. This is not imagination. The Buddha taught that negative mental states transfer suffering, not through magic, but through connection. When resentment is suppressed, it seeks release. And sometimes, it moves through gestures that appear generous. A gift becomes the bridge. These are the most dangerous people, not open enemies, but those who clap while secretly comparing, who congratulate you while feeling smaller inside, who say, "I'm happy for you," while resenting your growth, your peace, your progress. Their gifts carry tension. Their gifts carry comparison. Their gifts carry the bitterness they refuse to face. And once that energy enters your space, it begins to disturb your balance. You feel blocked. Opportunities stall. Progress slows. Not because you became incapable, but because your mind is no longer clear. The Buddha warned that peace is fragile. It must be protected. When you accept something from a disturbed mind, you invite that disturbance into your life. And the cost is not immediate, it is gradual erosion. Some gifts are not blessings. They are containers of unspoken hatred, disguised as kindness. That is why Buddhist wisdom teaches awareness over politeness, silence over acceptance, and intuition over appearances. Because your inner calm is worth more than any object someone hands you with a hidden heart. If a gift leaves you unsettled, uneasy, or drained, trust that feeling. Your body senses what words hide. 3. Gifts that feed your ego. Expensive gifts, status symbols, luxury wrapped in admiration. These are the most celebrated gifts in the world and the most dangerous. Buddhism does not say wealth is evil. It says ego is expensive, and ego always demands payment. When someone gives you a gift meant to impress, dominate, or elevate your image, it does not strengthen you. It reshapes your identity. Slowly, quietly, without asking permission. The object becomes a mirror, and you begin to see yourself through it. Not as who you are, but as how you appear. The Buddha taught that ego is the root of poverty because it replaces inner discipline with outer validation. A gift that feeds pride pulls you away from humility. And humility is not weakness, it is clarity. Without it, growth stops. At first, it feels good. You feel admired, respected, above others. But then something shifts. You begin to compare. Your value rises and falls with possessions. You spend more to maintain an image instead of building a life. Money becomes careless, not conscious. Purpose is replaced by performance. This is how poverty is born, not from lack of money, but from lack of direction. Such gifts attach you to appearance. They whisper, be seen, be envied, be admired. And slowly, you stop asking the most important question, am I becoming wiser? Instead, you ask, do I look successful? The Buddha lived with almost nothing, not because material comfort is wrong, but because attachment blinds wisdom. When identity is tied to objects, fear enters the mind. Fear of loss, fear of falling behind, fear of no longer being impressive, and fear destroys peace. These gifts weaken inner strength because they make you dependent on symbols instead of self-mastery. You begin to chase more recognition, more luxury, more proof of worth. And the hunger never ends. The tragedy is subtle. You look richer, but feel emptier. You own more, but control less. Buddhist wisdom teaches that anything which inflates the ego deflates the soul. True strength is quiet. It doesn't need witnesses. It doesn't need objects to feel whole. So be mindful. If a gift makes you proud instead of grounded, if it pulls you toward comparison instead of contentment, if it makes you care more about image than purpose, it is not lifting you. It is softening the ground beneath your feet, slowly, silently, until one day, you realize you've been standing on nothing at all. For gifts from someone who has harmed you before. If someone once betrayed you, insulted you, or shattered your inner peace, and later returns with a gift, be careful. Not every gift is an act of healing. Some are unfinished karma knocking at your door. In Buddhism, unresolved karma does not vanish with time, silence, or polite smiles. It waits, it matures, and when the moment is right, it seeks re-entry. A gift from someone who has harmed you is often not generosity. It is a signal that the past is not finished. The object may look harmless, even thoughtful, but the weight behind it is heavy. Because such gifts are rarely free of intention. They often carry guilt that seeks relief, manipulation disguised as remorse, or an unspoken desire to regain access to your life. And once you accept it, something subtle happens. The boundary you fought so hard to build begins to crack. You start questioning your own pain. You feel pressure to be mature, move on, not hold grudges. You feel guilty for still remembering what they did. This is how suffering is reopened, not violently, but gently. The Buddha taught that forgiveness is an inner release, not an invitation. You can let go of anger without reopening your life. Forgiveness cleanses the heart. Closeness re-entangles karma. And confusing the two is how people return to cycles they barely escaped. A gift from someone who hurt you often acts as a hook, not always consciously, but karmically. It pulls you back into emotional proximity. Conversations resume. Old dynamics awaken. And soon, the same wounds that took months or years to heal begin to ache again. Because the karma was never resolved, only paused. Some gifts are not apologies. They are attempts to ease someone else's conscience. They are bridges back to familiarity. They are keys to doors that were closed for survival. Buddhist wisdom teaches discernment over sentiment, peace over politeness, silence over reattachment. When someone truly changes, they respect distance. They do not use gifts to shorten it. If a gift makes you uneasy, if it stirs old memories instead of calm, if it pressures you to reconnect before you are ready, trust that feeling. Protecting your peace is not cruelty. It is wisdom earned through pain. And sometimes, the most enlightened response is not acceptance, but quiet refusal, allowing karma to end where it should. 5. Gifts that bring fear, negativity, or restlessness. Pay attention to your body. Before your mind forms words, before logic tries to explain, your body already knows. In Buddhism, mindfulness is not only about thoughts, it is about sensing subtle shifts in energy, breath, and emotion. The Buddha taught that the body is the first messenger of danger, long before the intellect catches up. That is why ignoring bodily signals is the fastest way to invite suffering. When you receive a gift and something feels off, listen carefully. You may feel uneasy, without a clear reason. Anxiety may rise quietly in your chest. A heaviness settles in your stomach or shoulders. Restlessness appears, as if your inner calm has been disturbed. These reactions are not random. They are signals. A gift that carries distorted intention, unresolved emotion, or negative mental states disrupts your inner balance. It enters your space and immediately begins to disturb the stillness you worked so hard to build. And because the mind dislikes uncertainty, it often tries to silence the body. I'm overthinking. I should be grateful. It's just a gift. But Buddhist wisdom teaches the opposite. Trust awareness, not politeness. Peace is not fragile because it is weak. It is fragile because it is precious. And anything that disrupts it, even slightly, is a warning. A gift that creates restlessness is not meant to be kept, no matter how expensive, rare, or socially impressive it appears. The Buddha called peace the highest wealth. Not money, not objects, not status. Because once inner calm is disturbed, clarity fades. Decisions become clouded. Suffering finds an entry point. This is how misfortune arrives, not loudly, but gently, disguised as kindness, wrapped in generosity, accepted out of obligation. And once accepted, its influence lingers. Your sleep becomes shallow. Your thoughts feel scattered. Your emotional stability weakens. You may not connect it to the gift, but your body does. That is why mindfulness is protection. When you are present, you notice what drains you. When you are aware, you sense what does not belong in your life. Buddhism teaches that wisdom is not always intellectual, it is felt. If a gift steals your calm, it is already costing you too much. You can replace objects. You can recover money. But peace, once disturbed, takes time to restore. Honor your intuition. Guard your stillness. Because anything that brings fear, negativity, or restlessness, no matter how beautifully wrapped, is not a blessing. It is a lesson asking you to choose yourself. 6. Gifts that make you dependent. The most dangerous gifts are not the ones that harm you immediately. They are the ones that save you today and ruin you tomorrow. In Buddhism, self-effort is sacred. The Buddha taught that no one, not even a teacher, not even a savior, can walk the path for you. Liberation comes through effort, discipline, and awareness. Anything that weakens these qualities weakens your life at its core. A gift that removes struggle does not always remove suffering. Sometimes it only delays it. Money given without wisdom feels like relief. Support that demands nothing feels comforting. Help that removes responsibility feels merciful. But slowly, something inside you changes. Your urgency fades. Your discipline softens. Your hunger to improve weakens. You stop pushing yourself, not because you are content, but because you are comfortable. And comfort, when unearned, becomes a cage. The Buddha warned against dependence because it steals the most valuable thing a human can have, self-trust. When you rely on others to catch you every time you fall, you stop learning how to stand. When someone solves your problems for you, you lose the ability to solve them yourself. At first, it looks harmless. You accept help. You lean a little. You rest. Then days turn into habits. Habits turn into identity. You begin to believe you cannot survive without support. Fear replaces confidence. Initiative disappears. And without noticing, you become stuck, not externally, but internally. This is how poverty begins, not as lack of money, but as lack of movement. Laziness is not always a choice. Sometimes it is taught, through gifts that require nothing in return. The Buddha taught that effort is dignity. Struggle is not punishment, it is refinement. When gifts remove effort, they remove growth. And when growth stops, life slowly shrinks. Some gifts rescue you in the moment, but quietly sabotage your future. They keep you alive, but not advancing. Safe, but not rising. Fed, but not fulfilled. Buddhist wisdom does not reject help. It rejects dependence. True support strengthens your legs, not replaces them. True generosity empowers, not weakens. So be mindful. If a gift makes you less disciplined, if it dulls your ambition, if it replaces effort with comfort, it is not kindness. It is a soft poison, sweet at first, devastating over time. And the cost is not paid immediately. It is paid years later, when you realize you could have become more, but never did. As we conclude, the Buddha never said reject kindness. He said, accept only what leads to clarity, peace, and freedom. True gifts bring calm, not control. Strength, not dependence. Growth, not ego. Remember, what you accept enters your life. Choose wisely. If this video made you reflect, like it to spread awareness. Subscribe for more deep Buddhist truths that protect your destiny. Your mind is your greatest wealth. Guard it carefully.